Hello everybody. It is Thursday, flower day. We're going to make beautiful flowers today. And I want you to know that my Instagram camera is on its last legs. I've got it plugged in, but I don't know if it's going to make it the whole time. So just know that it's also on Facebook on my page, Megan Bailey Gill Art, on Facebook if you get cut off. And not only that, we also have these on all of my Facebook feed is on there, and on my website under online classes I have done them all. And you know what? Hello Beverly, hello Desiree, hello Vanessa, hello Stacy, hello Barb. Boy, I got all kinds of people today. Shannon and all kinds of people. Okay, so I want you to know that since this epidemic, or whatever you want to call it, or COVID, or whatever, I have done 38 online classes. 38. Some of those are Zooms, and some of those are actually privates, and then some of those are just straight up Facebook Lives. And so I wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for doing this, or being part of it and helping me. I'm getting experience, and I am loving all of the stuff that you all do. So here's to May. Who knows what it'll bring, right? Okay, let's get started. So we're going to make these little cards today. We're going to make some flowers, and this is kind of a loose flower, so we're not really learning how to do like individual flowers. We're just going to have some fun, okay? I want you to loosen up, and I want you to kind of go, oh, let's see what we can make that kind of thing. So we will need some paper, all right? Oh, and FYI, I have some spots opening for pet portraits if you're wanting to see those, okay? Direct message me or something like that, but I can have them done by Mother's Day, you know, since your kids aren't bringing some homemade stuff home, you know. You may tell your husbands that that's what you want. I don't know. Okay, so this is watercolor paper. I love watercolor paper. The big deal about watercolor paper is that it's really stiff, and it's 140 pounds. That is what we're looking for here. Now, this is some fancy. Strathmore makes some really fancy, really good, durable, lasts for forever paper. But you don't have to have that. You can actually have... I dropped everything here. You can actually have, this is this is just Artist Loft. This is student grade, and this is actually at Michael's. I bought 3 of these pads of paper, 24 sheets. This is such a great deal, $5. Hey Duffy, hey Lisa, hey Barb. And so I want you to know that this is a very, very good deal. So this is what I am starting to use. So what I do is I take one of these pieces of paper and I cut it in half like this, okay? And then from there, I'm going to half this, and we're going to use this part as our little note card / card. So I'm going to hang on to one of these for my examples. Let's talk about paint for just a minute. So we've got... This is my Angora set. I absolutely love this brand. I use it all the time. Hey, Ruby. Hey, Vicky. And I want you to know that, so you don't have to have fancy brands. You can buy this on Amazon. I will probably be using this one today for my flowers. And I wanted to show you some other ones. So this is a Winsor Newton travel one. And I want you to know that you don't have to have a lot of colors to do this. Today, I want to challenge you to use only 3 colors. 3 colors. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yellow, blue, and red. Okay? That's what we're going to go for here. All right? So... that's one, and then I have this Koi watercolor set, which is a fancy, oh, it's so great. Oh, this is so yummy. And so this is, these are called half pans, and that means that there's a, well, it's like cake, basically. And this is a fantastic Ooh La La Designs. Thank you. Hi, how are you? And so these are fantastic. I have been loving getting to know these. But all right, you're going to need a paintbrush, of course. And our paintbrush is literally just this is about 1/4 of an inch. It's about a little bit bigger than my pinky. And it's very, very soft. I have seen people use actually their eye makeup brushes. You're going to need some water. I like to have water in a spray bottle and also in a little cup, little jar. That works too. You're going to need a paper towel. Okay, now, I wanted to show you all how to make a card. So, I'm barely going to use a pencil today, FYI. I have a shell from the basement. Thanks for telling me who you were. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to be using a pencil, but not very much. So I want us to be free as a bird today. Whoop, whoop, free as a bird. Oh, I wanted to also tell you that you can buy greeting card paper. And it's watercolor paper, and it already is scored. Do y'all know what scored means? You see this line here? I don't know if I can tilt it. Maybe you see it. It's right here. It is where a machine has made a dent in the paper, and it really helps you get this nice clean edge. We're going to try to make that today. And it also comes with envelopes. So I do like doing watercolor cards, especially if you're going to do a lot of them. All right? That way you don't have to score everything a million times, because that kind of gets old. So I have my piece of paper here, all right? So I have my piece of paper here, and I have a couple of things. There's this thing right here. This is called a stylus. And it's a blunt object, a blunt tip right here at the top. And then this one's even smaller than that, okay? And this is how you make nice, neat score lines, okay? I also have something here. It's just plastic. It's a flat plastic thing that people are using to actually smooth out stuff with. And I want you to know that you don't have to have these special tools in order to do this. So, because I said that, let's see. I have something here called a shish kebab skewer thing. I can use this. I can also use a little card. This is one of those key cards to hotels. They work good too. A credit card works good too. All right, so I've got my piece of paper. And now I'm going to half it, okay? So one thing that I'm going to do here is I'm not going to do too much. So I'm going to see, like, you see I didn't like bend it. I just sort of bended it to get the actual middle of it here. And I'm going to take my ruler here. You know, maybe we should actually, let's do it this way. Let's be real fancy about it. All right, so this is a 9-inch piece of paper, which would mean that the middle would be 4.5 inches. So I'm going to put a little dot right here. I don't know if you can see that little tiny one. You don't want it big. And then I'm going to do the same right here. 4.5 right there. All right. Now I'm going to I'm not even going to do this. I'm not going to draw my line. I'm going to put my ruler right there on it. I'm going to hold it with my left hand. And I'm going to take my, you know what? I'm going to do it with this credit card or the little key card. Let's see if I can do this whole thing with a credit card. So I'm going to use just this tip. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I did that really hard. You see how hard I did it? I actually like made it, like smudged it a little bit. That's fantastic. All right, so now, because I have a black card, it actually put some of the plastic, FYI, do it with a white card. One of these days, I'll try this stuff before I actually do it in class. Okay, so I've done that, and now, you see how it's automatically perfect? It's like folding for me, basically, because I have scored it. So one of the things I like to do next is I like to hold it with my left hand where the two sides meet, okay? And then I'm taking my plastic thing. Now here's the thing. I'm going to use this card, but I'm going to be very careful because it's colored. I should have gotten a white one. I have like a million of these. So here, I've got a white one. All right, and I'm going to start here at the middle. All right, holding it down with my left, starting at the middle, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go down, up and down. And that makes this beautiful edge right there, and it automatically, oh, that's fantastic. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, you can also do it on the other side of it. That might help it even bend more. Okay, that works. So that's how we make a card. Did everybody get that? You don't have to do that. You could just have a little piece of card today, and we're going to do that. That's what we did on Tuesday, FYI. So it's on my website if you want to see it. So this is what we're going to work on today. We're going to loosey-goosey here, all right? So I want us to plan it out a little bit. Not much. So this is where I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm going to do this very, very lightly because you are going to want to erase, okay? I have something called a kneaded eraser here, and it is basically just a plastic rubber thing, and it doesn't make that mess that these type of erasers make. You can buy them at Michael's or even Walmart in the drawing section has it. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to just like give a sort of placement, all right? So I'm going to take my card and I'm going to start drawing shapes. Shapes meaning around, 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 maybe a few leaves, okay? So let's start with ghosting. Do you know what ghosting is? Ghosting is literally, I'm taking my finger and I'm just going over and over. And basically what's happening is my arm is figuring out how to make a circle. And so I sit here and I'm going to go real lightly and I'm going to make a circle right there. Okay? And it's a pretty big one because it's going to be like my focal point. I'm going to put another big circle right beside it. But it might be bigger or smaller, okay? I don't want it exactly the same. So this time, and I'm going to have them pretty close to each other too. I may actually have them touching. So I'm going to do this one actually a little bit bigger. Okay? You see how I've done a lot of circles there, okay? And next, I'm going to do a little one up here in the corner, like that. And I think I'm going to do another one, a smaller one, and I might put 2 down here. You see that? I've basically just done a whole bunch of circles. I am not drawing. This is the real painting, yes. I didn't do an exercise today, actually. I just went for it because I wanted to make sure that we got to all of it. Thanks for asking, Vicki. Okay, so here we go. I have one big one. I have 2 big ones, all right? And they are touching each other. Actually, every single one of these is touching something else, all right? So, and I've only done circles. I do not want us to sit here and draw out a million of these things, okay? So that's what I mean about loosey-goosey. Okay, so the only thing that I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to do a little bit of some greenery around it, okay? So I don't want us to get carried away with this, but I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, do some lines like that. I'm going to maybe do another one like that. Have one come out like that. So basically I framed this big one is what I did. I did 1, 2, 3, one to the corner and one to that. I'm going to come out of this one, make some leaves. Basically what I'm trying to do is to make friends with things, right? Like, so I'm going to have a little bit of greenery come out of that one. Then I think I'm going to have a big one come out right here. This one here, I may actually make, well, it's going to look a little different. How's that? So when I mean a little different, I'm going to do 1, 2, so I've got 3 little things coming out of it. Can y'all see that? And then I'm going to make little ovals on top of it. So it looks just a little different. And then this one, I think I'm going to just do 1, 2, and 1, 2. You see how I've only done lines. I have not sat here and done a whole lot of planning. I've not drawn any details. Now, how many of you, I bet right now, have got petals and little pin, like all of the stuff? No, stop. Yeah, I know what y'all are doing. I'm very sure. I've done this before. This ain't my first rodeo. I know you people that love detail. I want the paintbrush to do our detail today. I want us to be loosey-goosey, have some fun. So all I'm doing right now is cleaning up my little, I'm cleaning it up just a little so, one, it doesn't confuse you all. And sometimes it confuses me. All right, so I've cleaned it up just a little bit, but do you see I have not added any detail? I have literally just cleaned up some of my lines. Now, you all may not be even able to see what I did, but there you go. We have a birthday girl in the audience today. Hello, Angel. She has a birthday today. Okay. I'm glad that you are doing. Can you put your finished piece on the screen so we have any idea? Yes, I can try to. I may do it down here at the bottom. How's that? Hopefully I don't get stuff on it. Okay, so here we go. We first have to activate our watercolors. How do we activate our watercolors? We spray it with some water. Okay, so if we spray with water, if you don't have water, then what you can do is you put your paintbrush in water and then you go to the actual paint. Then you wipe it off on your paper towel. Then you put it in paint and then you put it in the paper towel. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of class. Anybody remember? 3 colors. Goal of the day. 3 colors. All right? With that being said, our 3 colors are going to be yellow, this one, red, and blue. Now, you may choose, I'll give you permission to use this goldy color too. All right, this works too. So, but I'm going to try to do it with this yellow color because I want to see how it goes. This original one right here was actually made with this gold color. All right, so here we go. Barb, this is going to have to move. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see it the whole time, but there you go. All right. Here's what we're going to do. This is the only time I'm going to tell you to not have a whole lot of water on your brush, okay? So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with the red flower first. So I'm going to pick one of these as my red flowers. So I've got some red, or I've got some water on my brush. I'm trying to make sure you all can see everything here. And I'm going to get me some red paint. I have more paint on my brush than I have water on my brush. And I'm going to start at the center of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dot. And then I'm going to make a dot next to it. So there's 2 dots. Then the third dot is going to be a little bit, I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see. Okay? Maybe it's a little pi signal. I don't know. All right? And now I'm going to start making little baby C's. I'm not going back for any more color. I'll repeat. I am not going back for water or paint. I'm going to see how far this can go. I'm getting thicker. And I'm going. And I am doing it Do you see how it's not perfect, right? Do you see how it's, I don't want all of these to line up, basically. It's a little off. Think of it like you're doing bricks. Do you see how this one even touched each other? And that's fine too. All right? I'm going to keep going. And do you see how it's getting lighter as I go? And do you also see as I get bigger, my petals get bigger? All right, that's number one. I'm going to the second one. I think I'm going to go ahead and make another red one though, all right? So I'm going to come in, get some paint on my brush, and I'm going to make this one up here a little one, all right? It's going to be the same process. That means is I'm going to start with a dot. Then I'm going to start with its sister. Then I'm going to start with its next one, and I'm going to keep going. Now this one's tiny, so I'm having to be really careful. Do you see how I get bigger with my stuff? And it almost looks like I'm going in a circle, which I am. This first stage is ugly. And you think, there's no way. I promise it'll get there. All right? Here we go. I'm washing off my brush. You ready to do another one? Am I going fast? And there's a reason I'm going fast, people, okay? First reason is I want you to be loosey-goosey. I don't want you to get in your head. I want you to just play this time. Okay? That's what's so great about watercolor flowers. All right, I'm going down to get some blue. I'm going to use this blue right here. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, that's a little light, so I'm going to go get some more blue. So there's my dot. There's my sister dot. And there's my third dot. And now I'm going to make big old swooping. Now, my blue's not as dark as my red. But I'm going to continue with my rule. I'm not going back for more. I'm going really soft, and I'm also getting bigger as I go. And I can't see that at all. So, if I can't see it at all, I'm actually going to get back and go get some more. I'm going to start halfway in, like right here. All right, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do it over those. You see how that is helping it a little. All right, that's going to be my first pass. Okay, I think I'm going to do a few more little blue ones, but I'm not going to make, let's call these roses. And I'm not going to make another rose with this blue. I'm going to make one of those blue bud things. Maybe it looks like a little blueberry. I'm not sure. I'm going to do that down here. And I'm just going to paint this whole little thing blue. Okay? I'm going to leave that like that. Okay. I'm going to come in and do some yellow next. All right? So what I'm going to do is I need to make sure that this is completely clean. So water on the brush. Make sure you put it on the paper towel. Make sure when it comes out on the paper towel, it's completely clean. Because if you get blue in your yellow, ooh, it's ruined. It's awful. Don't do that. Okay, I've got water on my brush. It's completely clean. I'm going into my yellow. This time, do you notice how these flowers, I'm going to have as petals. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going with 5 petals. So I'm starting at the middle and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I may come in here and make them a little bit fatter. Makes it look like a little starburst. Now, that is so bright. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I promise. Stay with me. 3 colors, right? Anybody still with me with my 3 colors? Probably not. I bet you all are cheating. All right. I'm coming down and I'm going to do the same one to this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to keep this one at 5. I like that 5 little thing. Okay, now I've got yellow on my brush. I'm going to continue with my yellow. And we're about to make leaves. We're going to make yellow leaves right now. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw a yellow leaf. I'm going to draw, I think this one is going to be like, y'all see that? I kind of did 1 and 2. All right, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this whole thing just like that as yellow. Now these over here, I'm just going to make, you see how I'm just painting them. I'm not worried about their shape yet, okay? I know I have 4 colors. We're making them. We're making 4 colors. We are learning to mix colors today. That, I know, it's probably driving y'all crazy. It's fantastic though, I promise. All right, oh, this one over here. Okay, so I've done 1 whole layer all the way across, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start back over. We have to let everything dry and then we do it again. Remember, watercolors is nothing but layers. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come back to my red one. I'm going to keep the same process that I've been doing, and I'm going to show you this real quick. So it has 1 layer, and then it has another darker layer. This darker layer looks a little bit different. It does different angles, okay? It's a bunch of C's, but it doesn't come on one side. All right, what do I mean by that? So I'm taking this, taking my red, and I'm coming in, and I'm not being as perfect as I was, and I'm going on top of what I've already done, so I'm not really paying attention to it. So I'm coming in, and I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to get confusing for you all to look at this, but I'm staying, you see that? I'm staying only on one side, and I'm going bigger and bolder. Now, I did go back for paint, didn't I? And I did a few up there, but not much. And I am, all right, and I'm leaving that the way it is. I noticed that I got quiet there because my brain was just kind of doing its thing. These are the ones that I have fun with. Okay, so just to show you, I really stayed down here at the bottom a lot. I made little C strokes, kind of. And they got fatter as they got down towards the bottom, okay? I'm going to do the same one on this one up here at the top. Now, if you have a smaller brush and you're doing these little tiny ones, that might work just nicely. But don't feel like you have to have a small brush in order to do tiny things. Just tilt your brush. Tilt your brush a little bit. Figure out what works. So I'm coming in and I'm adding it just down here to the bottom. And it's starting to look a little messy and crazy, and that's okay. And I'm going to stop right there. The key here, are you ready? I learned this on our Tuesday class. Tuesday class, a lot of people overworked their poppies, and you didn't have enough light in them. So what I want you to do is, like this one right here almost has too much darkness right now. So I may have started to overdo this. This one has potential because there's a lot of light and darks in it. So don't overdo. And if you think you're overdoing, stop. Go work on something else. All right, let's go to blue. So I'm coming in with some blue. And this time I'm going to do the same thing. And I do this kind of a, and I'm getting bigger as I go. I'm getting bigger as I go, and I'm getting darker towards the bottom here, but not much. All right. And I'm going to leave that area completely alone on this one. All right. Now, I'm going to continue with my blue because we have these blue dots here, right? And we also need to make our fourth color, which is going to be green. But hold that thought. Let's come down here to these blue ones. Now I want you to stay with me. How many people are like, this is going too fast? I know, I hear you. Loosen up, loosen up. This is practice. Okay, I'm getting me some blue. I'm gonna come down here to these guys over here, these little blueberry things. Call them pods, I don't know what we're gonna call them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just make this part darker. I'm picking over here at the edge a little bit darker. And do you see how automatically that now looks like it has some shape to it? That's what we're going for. Okay, so I've got me some blue on my brush again. We're about to make green. We're going to our leaves. Are you ready? Are you ready to rumble? Okay, so here is, I'm starting up here on this one right here, and I'm going to just add a little bit to these. Now, if you have I'm not touching these flowers. Be careful, don't get carried away. And I want you to also notice that I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. And I'm not really worried about shape. I'm just going on top of things. I'm trying to figure out how to make green. And you notice when it's starting to look different, right? And now we have 4 colors. Boom! Okay, now I'm coming to this yellow one. Clean your brush. Very important. So we put it in water, we put it on our paper towel, we put it in water, we put it on our paper towel. Hopefully the paper towel is clean by then, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to work on our color flowers. So I'm going to continue with my yellow. I may end up with some red in that yellow for the moment, but right now I'm going to just, I'm being faithful here. I'm going straight yellow. So I'm adding just a little bit to each one of these petals. Do you see how I did not add in the middle? I don't know if y'all can see that. We've got like fluorescent happening here, don't we? Okay, I'm coming in and I'm coming to this one and I'm only doing these right here. All right, I'm liking that. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to come back down to this red one. I'll be honest with you guys, this has taken me a lot of practice, but that's why I also say you've got to like have some fun with this because it comes with practice. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a lot of water, more water on my brush now and some red, and I'm going to come in here with some big swooshes. But I'm only doing it like 3 times. And that's all I'm doing on that. I'm going to come do the same to this side. I've got a lot of paint on my brush. I'm going to paint some big swooshes. And leave it. And I bet you anything, this time I get a whole lot of people going, ugh, I just don't like the way this looks. This is something that you cannot plan. You've got to be, this is a Freebird project, right? Like, it's like whatever goes, we make it happen. Okay, so I've got me some blue coming in and I'm doing big ones. And sometimes they go together. You see how that bled right there? I'm letting that happen. I'm not touching it again. Okay. Now, I'm going to leave the yellow and the leaves for the moment. I am going to make these a little darker though. I want to make that just a little bit darker. You see, even when I went in there, I'm only doing the center of that dark spot now. Did you see that? So it's a circle in a circle in a circle. 3 circles there. All right, I'm going to come over here to my yellows. It's too yellow for me, I'll be honest with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of red. Okay? I'm taking a little bit of red and I'm going to add it to my palette here. I'm just going to put it here and I'm going to add me some water to it. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to clean my brush off and I'm going to get me some yellow. I'm going to add it to it. And it makes this orange color. I don't even know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? Okay. So what I did was I took some red and I added it to my palette and then I added some yellow, but I washed my brush out before I did that. So I have something called a yellow orange right here, right? And I'm going to come in. Oh, I do sound like Bob Ross when this happens. That's so yummy. Okay, that's what I'm going for. I love that. All right, with that color, because I love that color the most, I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a few other little touches. I want y'all to see some things. When I have it like this, it's feeling good, but I need it to rest. So one of the things is now that I do is I'm going to start adding these little, see, I have dots here. I have some blue dots here. I have another red one here. I have 2 more red ones. And so I'm going to start playing around just a little bit because I'm getting to the point where I need this to rest and I need to add just a little bit more filler to it. So I've got that and I'm going to add just some dots. All right, I added those dots. I'm going to add maybe 1, 2, 3 right there. Do you see if you add them close together, they almost make their own flower by themselves. Look at that. I now have 5 colors because we've made orange. Whoa. Okay. Does anyone notice that I have this little doodad right here and that he kind of looks purple? Does anybody want that? I kind of do. Where am I going to put it though? I don't really have room for it. Maybe down here. All right, so how do we make purple? Does anyone know? All right, we're gonna go with blue and I'm gonna add dots like that. Okay, then I'm gonna go get me some red. And I'm going to go right on top of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm going to wait for that to dry now. Now, I'm going to come and I think it's time for me to work on these leaves just a little bit more. So since they're dry completely, I'm going to go back to my yellow. And I'm going to just do one side. You see how when I do one side of these, it's starting to look a little bit more green. I think that's fine. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to make some more red flowers though. I like those. So I'm going to just add 1, 2, 3. Do you see how I'm adding? It's a 4-step process. It's 4 dots, but it's all together. And I'm adding things very close to each other, right? And I think I'm going to do it over here too. So I'm going to get me some red and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. That time I'm going to just do, there. He's a little different. Okay. Now, this one here bugs me a little because it's not touching much. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm adding, and you see how I just made that a little bit bigger. And I like it. All right, how many people are like, I hate this? And then some of you are probably like, oh, this is fun. How many of you are like, oh, I need to do this again, right? Yep, that happens, trust me. So one of the things I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on the middle since this is not yet dry, but that blue one is. So one of the things I'm going to do with this blue one is I'm going to come in with my yellow. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this, which in return makes a little green when you mix it together. That's okay. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to actually add a little bit of red to that little spot right there. Okay. Now I'm adding color, and it's controlled. It's small, right? But I have yellow and red, and now I'm going to go get some blue. And I got more blue on my brush than I do have water on my brush. And do you see how I'm making it darker? How many of you all have black? I may have to pull out some black. I don't know if I can keep my rules. I can keep my rules, right? Tell me, yes, you can do it. You can do it. It's so hard though. Why did I make that rule? You think I should break it? I think I'm going to break it. Black or brown? I'm going brown. So I'm taking my brown and I'm coming in here and I'm adding a dark center to these flowers. And I'm going to do the same here. I didn't like that. You see how I'm adding the center to them? I'm even doing it down here. And I'm adding it here, and I'm even going to add it there. To these little blue dots, I'm going to add just a little bit. 1, 2, like that. All right, that's working for me. And you know what else I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brown, and I'm going to add just a little bit to this bottom edge of this rose. And I'm going to do a little bit to this blue right here. Do you see I don't have a lot of paint on my brush? I'm doing this very lightly too. It's just grazing, as Bob Ross says. Be so very light, as gentle as a whisper. I did some research on Bob this week. It's kind of funny. Another thing that he used to say, be absolutely no pressure, just like angel wings. That's a good one for this. Or butterfly kisses. Now that's my own. Yeah, I know. I'm taking some red and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to add it to these edges here. All right. And I'm going to continue to add these little red dots to this. And I'm not going back for more, okay? That's not as much purple as I wanted it to be. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more blue to it. I'm seeing purple. Okay. Now, anybody noticing what I'm missing? All right. Now I realize, oh, see, I've added some blue to this. Oh boy. Don't do much. Don't do much. I am going to, I think it's my green leaves. I'm going back for some blue here. Actually, you know what? Let's make some green. How do we make green over here? So I'm going to take some yellow, clean yellow brush. I'm putting it right there. Okay, that's a good amount. Next, I'm going to get me some blue, and I'm going to put it right here. Nice. Do you see how I've made more of a green now? All right. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to see if I can add some more greenery to some of these things, and a little bit of shape. Shape meaning, you know, little ball like, what do you call those? Footballs. And you see how when I added more stuff to this, it's starting to look fuller. You don't want to overdo this. Exactly. If you have too much white space in your flowers or beside your flowers. If it's beside your flowers, start making them bigger. If it's inside, like inside where the petals are, then you need to keep adding. You need to, like, we may have done 3 or 4 layers. You need to work on more layers. But between each layer, it needs to be dry. All right, I'll repeat that. If you have too much white space around your flowers, then you need to make them bigger. Or add some greenery. Or add little baby flowers inside it. If you have too much white space inside of your petals, inside of your flower, you don't want to get rid of it altogether. Because even this one, look at how much white dots I have. Same thing for the blue, right? You don't want to get rid of all of it. The key, though, is every layer you do has to be dry before you go and add another one. Okay? So you wait for it to dry, and then you add another layer of the same blue. And every single one of those layers takes away some of your white space inside your petals. All right, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with a dryer. I'm cheating just a little bit, but I want you to all see how it turns out. And you know what? I do have a few places that I want to take my brown. I'm going to add another dot there, a dot there, a dot there. Okay. Now I've restricted us today, right, to black, red, yellow, and blue. But you could use other colors. I've seen some of these roses really pretty with some pinks in them or some blues in them. And that looks really pretty too. But I wanted us to prove that we did not have to have all kinds of fancy colors in order to do this. Yeah, I also wanted to make it just a tiny bit harder. We like challenges here, right? Okay, I've got this the way it is. And I'm going to take my black pen. So this is called a Uniball Signo pen. 207 Bold. It's one of my favorite pens. I buy them in bulk. It's fantastic. And I'm not going to show that for a minute. I'm going to show this. I'm going to write on it, right? I'm going to add my little curly cues. I start almost always to the middle of my flowers. And I add little scribble dots. And I do that to every single one of them. And do you see how they're messy? They're not perfect circles. And do you see how they're fast and they're not always in the center and they kind of come out? Now this one I'm going to just do like that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in so y'all see how messy that is. Y'all see how messy that is? All right, I'm going to keep going. And now what I do is I want you to see it's a C crescent moon shape over and over and over again. You need to make sure that this is completely dry before you do this step. And I don't want you to go overboard with this. Bob also has another one that says what? Something about overdoing it. I don't know what it is. If you overdo it, it loses its effectiveness. Do you see how I did more down here at the bottom than up at the top? So I'm going to do it over here. And I do them different sizes, different shapes. Well, it's actually the same shape, I guess. They're kind of messy. But do you see how they're not always in a straight line either? Like, they're kind of like bricks, right? Where they don't line up perfectly. All right, and I'm going to do little ones over here. And sometimes I don't connect them. And I don't make them always go to the top there. I'm zooming in so you can see. Yeah. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I come in and I'm going to do, this is where you can start drawing your petals. And I know some of you are just dying to draw some petals. So, do you see how I'm just drawing? Do you see how I'm not paying attention to where the paint is? I'm drawing the shape of the flower. That's something that's so fun about watercolor is that it kind of gives you a little bit of freedom to go wherever you want to. So on these, I'm just circling them like that. I'm not really worrying about too much of that, but I am doing a few of those and doing some circles here. Now this little dude, remember, he had a stick, and then he has little bitty ones, and then they get bigger, and then they get more of them down towards the bottom, just like that. Now leaves, I don't like to add too much detail to my leaves, so I go with my stick and I kind of just add them to it. And I actually try to go slower, people. I really do. I try. And I don't add that middle part, the veins, to every single one of them. Do you hear that? I don't add the vein, like the middle part right there. See, I can add it every once in a while, but I don't add it to every single one. And now I've got everything with some kind of outline. It's looking fun, but the funnest part, dun dun dun, is the squiggles. Squiggles. I love squiggles. All right, so one of the things that I do with squiggles is I like to start it like where two things meet, okay? Like an intersection. So I'm going to start here and do a little chinky chink, a swish. And I'm going to start here and go out. And do you see how I don't even make it perfect? I just kind of add to it. Sometimes I go over things like that. You don't have to overdo this stage. And I think I'm actually going to be done soon. You could add little dots. You could add squiggles to inside, because sometimes when you look at the insides of these roses, you see little sticks and stems. So you could add some there. And make sure you sign your work and you give it to your mom. Right? What do you think? It was a fun class. I enjoyed this today. I bet. I would love to see what you've done, and I would love to see how it turned out. This is, let's see if I can do right there so both of you all can see it. And I will see you next week. It's May next week, and I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be like in May, but I'm sure we'll still be part of it. I'll be doing something free. If you haven't done all of my lessons, they're on my website, Megan Bailey Gill Art, and online, and you can see it. And this is what we did last, on Tuesday. So we had some fun with some flowers. And I may have some paid classes to go in depth on flowers soon. I'm working on it. All right. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I want to see it. Leave it at the bottom of this post when you have seen it and done it. And I will talk to you all later. Have a good weekend. Bye.